So in this video, we are going to be adding some slightly more complex fractions. And what we are going to be adding in this is 3 over 8 or 3/8 plus 1 over 3 or 1/3. So I'm going to imagine that I just have a really hard time with my times tables. So I'm going to use my times tables chart to help me solve this problem to find a common denominator between 8 and 3. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at 3 right here. And I'm just going to look at all of these multiples of 3. Just as I go across, I'm just going to look and take them all in. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look down here at 8. And I am going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to look just all the way across. But this time, instead of just looking all the way across, I'm going to look with a purpose to see if 8 and 3 have any common multiples. So here we go. And I found one. So I can see here that 8 has a 24 and 3 also has a 24. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to write my new denominators, which is both going to be 24. I'm also going to add in my plus sign too, so I don't forget. And now I'm going to ask myself, what did I do to this 8 right here to turn it into a 24? If I'm not sure, remember, I can always use my multiplication chart to help me out. And in order to do that, I'm going to come back to this 24 right here, and I'm going to look up to the very top, and I can see that I'm next to a 3. And this basically means that 8 times 3 equals 24. So that lets me know that I need to multiply 8 times 3 to get 24. And the next thing that I absolutely have to remember and can never ever forget is that if I multiply the denominator by 3, I also have to multiply the numerator by 3. And I know that 3 times 3 is 9. So this right here lets me know that 3/8 or 3 over 8 is equivalent to 9/24 or 9 over 24. So for right now, I am done with this fraction, and I'm going to look at my fraction 1/3. So now I'm going to do the same thing that I'm going to ask myself the same question that I asked myself about the denominator of 8. Only this time I'm going to ask myself, what can I do to a 3 to make it into a 24? And I again am going to imagine that I cannot remember my times tables. I'm just not sure. So I'm going to look at my handy multiplication chart. And this time I'm going to first look in the 3 column and then go over to the 24. And then I'm going to go straight up. And I can see right here that there is an 8. And this means that 3 times 8 is 24. So because 3 times 8 is 24, that means I'm going to multiply by 8 to change my denominator to 24. And I'm sure that you guys are starting to see the pattern by now, but whatever I do to the denominator, I also have to do to the numerator. So that means I'm going to do 1 times 8 equals 8. Oh, I'm going to rewrite that 8. There we go. So this lets me know that 1 over 3 or 1/3 is equivalent to 8 over 24 or 8/24. So now that I have a common denominator of 24, I can go ahead and just add. So I'm going to start with my denominator. I know that when I add and subtract fractions, my denominator does not change. And then I can just add 9 plus 8, and I know that 9 plus 8 is 17. So now I know that 3 over 8 plus 1 over 3 is equal to 17 over 24. And I did that by writing two equivalent fractions. The equivalent fraction of 3 over 8 or 3/8 is 9 over 24 or 9/24. And the fraction 1 over 3 or 1/3 is equal to 8 over 24 or 8/24. And again, once I did that, I was able to just add them to get 17 over 24.